Just waiting for. Hello, good evening, and good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching. This is the Ghana Agenda, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the show. This is our second show in the year, and today we have two things tabled for discussion. Today we'll be talking about the composition of the 8th Parliament and the events that went on in Parliament over last week. And we'll be talking about the inauguration of the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo Addo, on the 7th of January 2021. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have two gentlemen who will be joining me on the show. Very accomplished gentlemen, very intelligent, and will be sharing their views for all of us. I welcome you to send your comments and participate. The gentlemen we'll be talking to today are Mr. Erasmus. Erasmus is actually Dr. Erasmus Atajemfi. Erasmus is a comptroller and a PhD who works for, I think, JP Morgan. I may get that wrong, but I'm going to give him the opportunity to actually introduce himself. But he is with the MPP. Also in studio is Paul Disosu, who is an MBA himself and telecommunication engineer. He is with the NDC. Gentlemen, welcome to Ghana Agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So today, we will be talking about all the issues and the things that went down in Parliament on, I think, Wednesday during the election of the Speaker. And I'll be playing videos for us to actually analyze. But before we start, do you have any preliminary comments for my audience before we begin? And that you could start, Dr. Erasmus.
Thanks for having me on your show.
Say it again?
I said thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, thanks for joining me. And of course, you are traveling and you are locked in between airports, and you still honored this invitation, and I'm so grateful. Mr. Paul, do you have any preliminary comments before we begin the show?
Well, thank you very much for having me on this show, and I'm very happy I'm on the show with someone from the MPP side for us to debate upon the shameful and this in Parliament House, which the head of state, His Excellency Nana Addo, should bow his head in shame, because that's not what we know him for. We know him to be a human rights activist. We know him to be one of the people who believe in justice. For us, seeing this thing happen in Parliament House to the extent that the military are being called into Parliament House is a disgrace. That this is one of the lowest points in our democracy under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa. And I think we'll go into detail. So I'm very, very disappointed, but we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for those preliminary comments. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us to Parliament, and we would watch some of the things that happened. And then when we come to the other side, we would talk about this. So stay with me.
Ghana's parliament is usually a symbol of cordial democratic debates. Thursday was an exception. MPs were in the process of electing their speaker, with the opposition's candidate expected to win the vote, when a lawmaker suddenly stole uncounted ballots. The picture shows him running out of the room, chased by other members of parliament. The chaos continued when soldiers entered the chamber trying to keep MPs apart. Lawmakers quickly escorted them out of the room, and the opposition called for an investigation into who called on the army to intervene. Order was restored, and Speaker Al Ben Bagbin was sworn in. The events in Parliament come after a month of rare political unrest. There are exactly as many MPs from the opposition and the ruling party, 137, which means policymaking will be complicated. Meanwhile, the opposition has challenged the results of the presidential vote won by Nana Akufo Addo. In his inauguration, the president vowed to work in unity with the new speaker.
I want to assure you of my wholehearted determination to work with you to advance the peace, progress, and prosperity of the Ghanaian people.
Ghana needs efficient governance to cope with the COVID crisis that has hit its economy. Growth is the lowest in 3 decades, and sovereign debt is over 70% of GDP.
Welcome back. So you've seen the video, and you've seen how the international media has characterized what occurred in Parliament on Wednesday, between Wednesday and Thursday. Doc, I think, Doc, if you're with us, what is your characterization of what the president said? The president promised to work with Agban Bagby, who he wasn't originally expecting to become the Speaker of Parliament, but eventually that is what happened, and he promised he's going to be working with Agban Bagby. What is your assessment of that situation, and how do you think that relationship would unfold going forward?
I think it will be interesting to see how the president works across the aisle to get things done. I mean, there's no adoption to really do that. We are saddled with a split parliament. As such, we have to learn to work across. I think it's a win-win situation for Ghana, and we should accept the situation as is. And I'm sure going forward, policy making will be better. One party doesn't have the full unfettered power that transpired in the last 7 parliaments. So generally, I believe it's a good situation and it will be a win-win for Ghana. And I trust that the president will be able to, reach across the aisle and work with our folks from the NDC.
Okay, so you don't think this is going to cause any type of power struggle, where the president wants to do one thing according to his agenda that he would, he's going to put forward to advance the country in the next 4 years, and the Speaker of Parliament is thinking of another thing completely different from what the president wants to do? You don't think that's going to cause a problem?
We would definitely encounter situations like that because, of course, the NDC wants to be in power next year. But I suspect we will find a way around it, and if we have a little bit of belligerence, by all means, we will negotiate better to try to get things done.
Okay.
We just have to get things done because generally, at the end of the day, we are working in the interest of Ghana. So we have the presidency, we have the speakership of Parliament. We are still the majority in Parliament. I believe we'll get things done.
Okay, good. Mr. Paul, let me pose the same question to you. Do you think that the two individuals, Mr. Bagby and Nana Akuffo, are likely to work together to the benefit of Ghana? I think we have your microphone is off. If you can.
Thank you very much. And I think to start with, I totally disagree with my friend from the other side. It is not true. Let's set the record straight. It's not true that MPP had majority in Parliament. That is not true. The fact as it is that we have 137 members of Parliament at the MPP side, 137 at the NDC side, and an independent candidate. How come that 137, and you are claiming that you have majority? That is not true. So let's not deceive our listeners this afternoon or this evening or this morning, wherever they are watching us from. The fact is that it is a balanced parliament with one independent candidate. The truth of the issue is that we know the independent candidate used to be a member of the MPP, to which they sacked him from their party. The former Speaker of Parliament sacked him from Parliament. This person is an independent candidate. He can vote alongside when they are taking decision, but this person cannot be part of the MPP, whereby they will say that they are majority. It is not true. Number two, I'm happy this turn-up has come out, because now Ghana will be very interesting place to live in. The corruption, the pushing of deals into parliament, such as PDS, such as Japan, all those deals will be scrutinized moving forward.
Okay.
Have their way to bring corrupt deals into parliament and use the numbers to pass it again. And this is good for democracy.
Okay.
So let's look forward and let's see what is going to happen. In any instances, let me just also set the record straight that the president has no choice than to work with Aban Bagbin, the new Speaker of Parliament. And I believe and I trust that the Speaker of Parliament that has been selected is a man of integrity. He's a man that will make sure that he seeks the interests of Ghana first upon any individual interest. So if it is the view of the NPP thinking that they are going to lobby him around to try to buy him, they should forget about it. Because I believe, and I can set it on record over here, that Aban Gbagbe is going to keep the NDC on their toes equally as he's going to keep the NPP on their toes. So democracy in Ghana is going to be interesting moving forward. We are going to see the people's representative in parliament doing the right thing moving forward. We are going to see accountability in parliament moving forward. We are going to make sure that, all those corrupt and thievery that happened for the last 4 years, it will never happen again. They will not send a deal to parliament and then within 12, 24 hours, they push their numbers through to pass the deal. It's not going to happen again. Ghana is going to develop, our democracy is going to develop, and I am happy that we have this outcome.
I know you've disagreed with Dr. Erasmus Atajenfi. Dr. Ramos, do you want to counter what he said about whether MPP has a majority in parliament or not?
There's a reason why we have a majority leader in parliament, and there's a reason why they have a minority leader. When the discussions were had, it was determined that the former MP agreed to side with us, which is why majority. In terms of numbers, it's all 137, 130. Of course, it goes without saying. We all know the fact. It's 137 on each side and then one independent, but the independent has agreed to side with us. So in principle, we have the majority in parliament. I don't know how that is so hard to agree with, but then again, we can do all the rhetoric of it. The fact of the matter is, we have a majority leader, you have a minority leader.
Doctor, that is not true.
That's the fact of the matter.
That's not true.
Okay, so you don't have a minority leader. What is Haruna right now?
I thought
what is Haruna right now?
Haruna, for now, we have neither majority, we have no minority in parliament. We have equal.
What is Haruna's role right now?
Haruna's role right now. Can I answer you?
Yeah, let me answer.
I thought Dr. Atajefi would have learned a lesson from what has happened. Their own people voted against them to get Aban Gbagbe elected as the Speaker of Parliament. So he should be careful when he's talking, saying that the former MP is an independent candidate. He has said he's going to sit with them, he's going to vote with them. Yes, he has said that. But you see, there is a precedent that was set 3 or 4 days ago. We have 275 parliamentarians going to vote. And let's set this record straight. From the analysis that or what happened Wednesday night into Thursday morning, upon all the fighting and the wrangling and then the disorder that went on in parliament, after counting the vote, Professor Makukwe had 136 votes. One spot ballot. When you add it to his 137, okay? Which means the other vote all belongs to Aban Gbagbe, which is 138. Because the MPP saw and they knew that they were losing the election, what's the name? Professor Makukwe had 136, and the remaining part of vote that is yet to be counted for Aban Gbagbe was going to show clearly that Aban Gbagbe has won the election That is why Carlos Ahinkra,
Mm-hmm.
in connive with the Oche Mensah Bosu, the then majority leader, the then, not current. That's why I said then majority leader. But now he's Osei Mensah Bosu. They agreed and they put a plan in place to allow Carlos to go and steal or drag those ballots and chew two of the ballot papers, which belong to Alban Subani Bagbe. So if Doc is talking, Doc should be very careful. I thought they've learned a lesson. He's not sitting, he's telling us that.
Let Doc respond to that quickly, and I'm going to play a video from.
I don't want us to belabor this point.
Right.
And clearly, honestly, from a personal standpoint, I don't care if who has the majority or who has minority. We still have the presidency, and we're going to have to do what we're going to have to do. This was more of a bittersweet election. Yes, we won the presidency, but yes, we also have some really, really critical parliamentary seats. It's a lesson for us. I agree with you. We're going to have to learn from it, and we're going to strategize better.
Okay.
Let's not belabor the point. We'll see what happens.
I agree with you. And also, as I said,
okay. Let me do this. Let me play. I know, Mahama watched that event, and he has some comments after watching it. So I'm going to play what Mahama has to say.
Mr. Abuzu, before you go there, yes. If Dr. Attah is it Attah Jemfi? Is that right? Dr. Attah Jemfi would have spoken about the things or have made a comment about my preliminary submission concerning the corrupt deals they bring to Parliament, which I said that there's an end to that. It can never happen again. They can never bring such corrupt deals to Parliament, such as a Japa PDS. It will never happen again. He didn't make any comment about it.
So let me quickly address that. I don't believe there were any corrupt deals. Japa was a good deal. Obviously, we did execute. We had to put in a back burner. And as a finance person, if this is not time for it, maybe Amuzu would have us talk about it at some point. But I can tell you, as a financial transaction, it's one of the best that you can see. It's a best practice transaction that you can see on the world stage. But then again, it was all political. There was a problem with PDS, which was abandoned. We haven't moved forward again. We are still a strategic partner. Of course, the president has shown a desire to not follow through with deals that are problematic or problematic in the eyes of the people. So let's give the president some credit here. He's not pushing through, ramming things through, like we experienced during Mahama's time. When he would ram anything through, of course, he claimed it was a dead goal, so he wasn't going to listen to what people had to say. So, for sure, let's applaud the president for pulling back on some of these deals and having us take a second look, revisit. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of those in the second term. But I don't comment that they were corrupt by any stretch.
Okay, so because Dr. Attah Jemfi has a limited time with us, I want to play two videos before he leaves. And the first one is going to be what Mahama thinks about the events that occurred in Parliament, because he met with the NDC at some point and made some comments. So let's
This is what unity of purpose can do. It says, united we stand, divided we fall. And that there is no force that can defeat a people who are together and united and acting with a single purpose. And that is what we saw on the floor that night. It was not a fight for yourselves. It was not a fight for the NDC. It was a fight to protect the democracy of the people of Ghana. That everything that is wrong with our democracy under this president played out in Parliament that night. Snatching of ballot papers, attempting to disenfranchise the voters by getting Asin North out of the chamber, and all the other things that took place, attempting to compromise the secrecy of the ballot. Everything that played out that night, you know, the entry of the military into the chamber, I mean, that is an abomination. It makes us look like a banana republic. Because you were there and you were emotionally charged, I'm sure that the infamy of that event did not strike you. But when you see it on TV again, you see how low our democracy has sunk under this president.
Yeah, so my question goes to Dr. Attaah-Gyamfi. Listening to Mahama, do you agree that what the NDC did on the floor of Parliament wasn't a struggle for the NDC per se, but it was a struggle for our democracy, and that it also epitomized what is really wrong with our democracy?
I would take Mahama's comments with a grain of salt always, because he just lost an election and he would use every opportunity to sensationalize whatever. Yes, I'm someone that has to play the floor of Parliament were disgraceful. I'm sure Carlos is mortified by his actions. He's come out to apologize. He realized that what he did was not the right thing to do. It should never happen on the floor of Parliament. He's apologized. I think we should move on. I mean, Muntaka also misbehaved. I haven't seen any apology from him. If he apologizes, it's great, but with Muntaka, I wouldn't put it past him for him to step it and not even apologize. He's, like I said, a very sensational politician himself, so he would do anything. But in general, just like I said, NDC, what happened, the Speaker of Parliament, it's good for Ghana. I don't know what Mahama is talking about when he says the military coming to the floor of Parliament to try to resolve a situation. It's a banana republic. So it's just over the top. Those are not comments you make as an ex-president. But then again, why would you call a country that you are intending to lead a banana republic? It's sad coming from an ex-president. But then again, like I said, we are looking at the bigger picture of running the affairs of the country, the presidency in the back.
Mr. Paul, what do you say about Mahama's comment and what Dr. Attaah-Gyamfi said?
I'm disappointed in Dr. Attaah-Gyamfi for saying that he takes Mahama's statement as a pinch of salt. So let's analyze the issue now.
I think your mic is off.
Yeah, Paul, can you say that again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I said I'm very disappointed in Dr. Attaah-Gyamfi talking about taking Mahama's statement as a pinch of salt. Are we talking about people making statements
again? I don't think it's
a pinch of salt? Is that what he wants us to believe this evening? Okay, we'll go to that direction. If we are talking about people's, or if anybody make a statement that we should not take the person serious, we are talking about the super incompetent Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo. Why am I saying so? When he was in opposition, he stated that he is not going to do family and friend business when he comes to government. At the time that he was making that statement, Mahama on record had only one person who is the family member in his government. That is his current spokesperson, Joyce Muntara Bawa. What did we see when Nana Addo got into government? Nana Addo has over 52 appointees who are direct relation to Akuffo. So if we are talking about people, when they talk, we should take their words as a pinch of salt, then it is Nana Addo. What did he tell us when he was in opposition about contract? That when he comes, his contracts are not going to be shared by his wife. What are we seeing today? Every contract, we can take it right from PDS on a married deal, which involved over $800 million, which the president himself was deep involved in it. When we talk about PDS Ejapa, What I can mention deals upon this, which the president said he's going to fight corruption. What are we seeing today? In the Fourth Republic, if you are talking about any government that have been falling with a lot of corruption scandal, this is the super incompetent NPP government. So if we want to talk about people when they talk, we should not take them serious. Then Addo is number one. Because we will never take him serious. The things he said when he was in opposition, when he got into government, he's doing the opposite way. He criticized Mahama for appointing 82 ministers. He came to government, he appointed 124 ministers. So, Dr. Atajefi, when you are talking, stop and let's face the reality and let's talk about the fact. If we want to talk about a president who doesn't keep his word, that when he talks, we should not take him serious, then it is Addo that we should be referring to. Because all the things he said when he was in opposition, he's doing the opposite in government. We have the nation and the most corrupt country in the world as we speak.
I can't hear.
I can't hear you. I can't hear Alfred. You are muted.
Yeah, if you can answer for me the substantive question, which is what Mahama said about what ensued on the parliament floor.
I'm coming there. So I was just trying to lay the bare fact to let Dr. Atajefi knows that if there are people who speak and we should take it as a pinch of salt, it is not. I just want to give him those examples. Now let me talk about what Mahama said. Okay. What Mahama said, I totally agree with him 100%.
Okay.
That is one of the lowest points in our democracy. Okay. Whatever happened on the floor of parliament, acceptable.
Yeah, I know. If you don't mind, if you can wait a little bit, Dr. Atajefi is getting ready to board his flight. So before you leave us, do you want to kind of give us some last words? I know you've listened to the.
It's unfortunate, but I'll be grateful if you can bring him on next week and let's take this topic again. Because Dr. Atajefi, I will make sure that I support him and his government. He's super incompetent government. They have nothing to offer Ghanaians. And I'm ready for him next week. If he's ready, let's meet next week. Doctor.
Dr. Jeffrey, up to you. Yeah. Over to you.
I didn't hear much of what he said. I think I'm having issues with the mic here. I think one of your listeners asked that I room I'm in an airport, so I can't really walk around without a mask. So pardon me for that. Next time I would I'll do a better job when I'm at home or in the office.
Yeah, so that is coming from.
I'm getting ready to board again. But what I can say is, and Paul and I having a discussion with you, and Ambuzu, thanks for having me. But I'll say that again, having a free parliament is good for democracy and it's good for the country. And I think hopefully there's not too many or too much belligerence from the NDC side, so we can help us run the country.
All right. Okay. So, Doc, what we would do is, if next week you are available and your time permits, that we'll bring you back so we can continue this conversation. But we wish you a safe flight, and thanks for joining us. I hope and I know for sure that my viewers and listeners are very appreciative of all the contributions you made today. But we would like to see you again on the show shortly. Thanks for coming.
Sure. I'll be available. Just let me know.
I hope you meet me next week on the show.
Okay. Have a safe flight.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, and I know if you want to say some things about what our other panelists say, but once we are done with that, what I'm gonna do is I would be pulling in the excerpts that we have from the president's speech so that we can analyze and see if some of the things the president said will be things that we would expect for him to achieve in the next 4 years. But before we do that, you've been, chatting with our co-panelists or our panelist, Dr. Jeffy, and I know we got a little heated.
Can we take a quick break? My battery is running low. Let me get my charger, please.
Okay, I'm going to play that video, and then when you come back, we can talk about it.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. So let me... All right, viewers. So we've been talking about the events that took place in Parliament the other day, and we had two guests, Mr. Paul DeSoso, who's a telecommunication engineer and also an MBA, helping us break down what happened and what occurred in Parliament on Wednesday night. we've also had Dr. Erasmus Atajenfi on the MPP side, who also came and gave us some good information. His analysis are spot on what he thinks about the parliament going forward and whether Aban Bagby is going to be cooperating or working very well with the president, as this was not expected. The president was expecting somebody else to be the Speaker of the Parliament, but it turned out that Aban Bagby, who belongs to the NDC, emerged victorious in Parliament. Mr. Paul, are you back to us and are you able to participate?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now, what I'm actually looking for, there's a comment here that we could take. Let's look at these 2 comments and then we can go back to our show. So the first one says, interesting conversation is coming from the Akuffo family, who is always there supporting our show, and we are grateful for them for carrying the show itself and for continuing to support it. Also, Akko Radio again says, good job, Alfred. So thank you, Akko, for all the supports. Okay, now let's go to this video. So in Parliament, we saw so many images, including one where Isla Osu was sitting on the MP from Jubasu. So I'm gonna play the reaction from that MP, and then we could talk about that when we on the other side.
She went to take Honorable Aboka's seat. We persuaded her she wouldn't budge, so she insisted. At a point in time, she even pushed Honorable Collins Dowda. So we left her until she herself left that seat. Don't forget, I have already indicated to you that she was the only person sitting in our midst, that is the NDC members of Parliament. So I also went to sit on that seat. So when I went and sat on it, from nowhere, I didn't see her. She never spoke to me. She never asked me anything. All I realized was that she was sitting on my laps. That was disgraceful, right? A married woman sitting on the laps of somebody's husband. Since then, my wife has not taken it easy. She thought she shouldn't have done that.
Hey, so, welcome back, and this is the Ghana Agenda. You're watching Alfred Muzu, and my panelist today is Paul Disonso. We've had Dr. Erasmus Jenfi, who just left us because he's between flights and he has to board his next flight to his destination. Mr. Paul, you've listened to the member of parliament talking about how his wife didn't take kind to the Honorable Esla also sitting on him in parliament because the minority, NDC in this case, previous minority, I know you will say now that they are majority, went to sit at where the majority sits because in their mind, they are the majority. And we saw what happened when Esla also went and sat on the honorable member from Juwaso. What is your take on this? Do you think that is a decorum of an honorable member to sit on another honorable member the way we saw on videos and pictures from Parliament on Wednesday?
For me, let me just say the record. So I've never stated over here on your program that the NDC have majority in Parliament. I've stated that we have 137 members of Parliament each. So there is no majority, there's no minority. It is okay. Balance of Parliament. But however, it is the expectation of the NDC that pass out, which we are contesting furiously. We hope and we think, when the judge hears the case and the judge goes into the details of the case and the judge allows for a recounting to be done, that's given to us, and that will make us the majority moving forward. But as we speak now, it's unfortunate. It's very shameful. It is very unacceptable for Osler to do such a or put as such a behavior in the August House of Parliament, the place that laws are made. Look, I don't know if there's any laws in Ghana, but if there's any law that Honorable Akanda can sue her, she should sue her for what? Sexual harassment.
But wouldn't that be overstretching the issue? Because all she was doing is, trying to take a position, No,
don't forget that. I mean, it's becoming unbecoming of some members of parliament, especially in the MPP side. Hawa Yakubu is one, Esther is number two. Okay, this think they are untouchable. I mean, why should you go to extend doing such a thing in parliament? You came in, look at the first now that happened when he wanted to sit on Honorable Tetu's advocate seat. Look at the way he was pushing people around and all those stuff.
Right.
You understand? Yeah. And after you vacated a seat and somebody has come to sit on a seat, at least the courtesy demand that speak to the person and ask him to get up from the seat if you think that seat belongs to you.
Right.
You have no right to sit on his laps. He's a married man, a married woman. What they did was unacceptable, and I support Honorable Akanda 100%. If the wife can pursue a legal action against Osler, she should do it. So I'm not going to call her honorable because she doesn't deserve to be called an honorable. An honorable person will not do such a thing that she did. Sitting on somebody's husband's lap, playing love in parliament, that is unacceptable.
Would you call that playing love in parliament? Because
of course,
really, all she was trying to do is assume her seat or seat that she sat on for the last 4 years. It wasn't.
If you are trying to assume your seat, does not courtesy demand that you speak to the person and ask the person to vacate the seat?
Right, but it doesn't translate.
I don't think the interview that was granted Akando. Honorable Akando said she didn't even say anything to her. She just came to sat on her laps.
Right.
Unacceptable. Let's condemn it. It was part of the low point in that parliament house on that unfaithful night, and part of the thing that has made this or that night to be a night that will be remembered in the memories of Ghanaians. Ghanaians will ever live to remember all those things that happened in Parliament House that unfortunate night. Okay.
All right. So what I'm going to do, there's a question here that one of our listeners is asking from Akko Radio. It says, how critical is the Speaker of Parliament's political affiliation when it comes to developmental, in other words, he's trying to say developing Ghana?
I can tell you for a fact, that Aban Gbagbe is a fair, balanced, honest, and very intelligent, gentleman. You see him, he's been in parliament for over 23 years or 24 years, and he's going to do what will benefit the interest of Ghana. Not the interest of the NDC, not the interest of the MPP. That is why I am saying, and I am putting it on record, that if the MPP think they can find their way through to try to grease his hand to it's not going to happen. Likewise, the NDC cannot push him to do things that is not going to benefit Ghanaians. He is there to make sure that democracy works in Ghana. He is there to make sure that shady deals, such as a Japa deal, which Dr. Jeffrey disagreed with me, shady deals, such as the PDS deal, which Dr. Jeffrey agreed that there was issue with it. But I know, and I believe next week when we meet, he's going to accept, and I'm going to punch holes into the Japa deal for him to know how shady that deal is. All these shady deals will never pass through parliament again. I can't hear you.
Dr. Jeffrey is saying that the president, when deals come up that has issues, that he has shown that he can set those deals aside and not necessarily, complete them and not listen to people. He's shown that he listens, and where maybe his appointees or somebody has brought up a bad deal, that he's able to cast the deals aside. And that is
not true. That is not true. That is never true. And I'm going to give you 3 critical examples.
Okay.
A married deal. When they were in opposition, they said the NDC government has inflated a married deal over $150 million, and that when they come into government, they'll make sure they take that money back for the good people of Ghana. Ask them to provide evidence. They could not even provide evidence. What did they do? When they got into government, they went back to strike a new deal, which was going to be getting $800 million into the pocket of some few people around the presidency. And don't forget, that deal was given executive assent by the president.
Okay.
When the deal got into parliament, the good work of the minority then was, and then they said no, they will not allow this to happen. When they saw that Ghanaians have noticed that that deal was shady, he withdrew it. That's not listening to the people of Ghana.
Okay.
3 years deal. You remember the way Honorable Apujinakpo, all NDC side were raising issue. So civil society were raising issue. They did not listen. They went ahead. They struck a deal until issue came, and they saw that no, the issue that has come, they have to get out of the deal as we speak. Who has been taken to tax? Who has been prosecuted? Which people has been prosecuted? So if we think that the president is the president who listed, it's a lie. Number 3, a Japan deal. A deal. Look at the fight that came over it. A lot of people raised issues, demonstrations. They went ahead and struck the deal. And it got to a level whereby there was a standing block that the president withdrew the deal, saying that he's waiting for the new parliament to come in so that they can relook at the deal. That's the reason why they were doing everything possible to have Professor Michael Kwe as the Speaker of Parliament so that that deal through. But I am happy it's not going to happen. We are going to audit it. No shady deal will pass through Parliament again. So it is never true that the president is a listening president. It's never true that the president listens to people when issues are raised. It's never true. He's the president who will never listen to any criticism, will not listen to any feedback from anybody around him. If you criticize him, he sent his tax on you, they will come and beat you, they will come and harass you, or they will even silence you. That's what we have as the president of Ghana.
So when you say no shady deal is gonna, make it through Parliament, are you counting on Bagbin to be the one to stop that? Are you counting on the 137 MPDC parliamentarian to
Both
be?
of them. Both of them, because Honorable Agbagbo will never allow any shady, corrupt deal to pass through his eyes. He will never supervise over any shady deal. Likewise, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, Honorable Muntaka, and all those great gallant MPs of the NDC side will not sit down for such shady deals to pass through Parliament again.
Okay, let's listen to what Nana said about the independent candidate before the election took place, and that independent candidate becoming a deputy Speaker of Parliament now. Let's listen to him.
That's an interesting one. Let's listen to it. Yes.
We'll come to the other side and we'll talk about it.
Me kwa me ntumi kwa ben mo me nye yie. Me ya woni a ebe boa me e wo ma se bedwam ho. E ho Akuffo ni wa ebe boa wa. Amra na betosi. Ti me hia mema wo ma se bedwam ho a woni be foa. Me sise no so. Enti no me ko ho a me hia dia me do betumi akọ. Independent bi ntumi mo ame. Independent candidate bia etumi moane ubia nano ka so MPP ni a independent na onye MPP ni papa onye MPP ni papa o MPP ni papa onye independent titiro masmasi en from bana me no ndi komo a wamba me chese uni ebu mame utumi ni menye adwuma onipa ni ebuo ma me no mimi tumi ni nye adwuma jemisramo obia gen enya no baako onipa metumi ni na ye adwuma eni sule a ojia me chen ono na metumi ni na ye adwuma Mismatch man prepare so go independent candidate no launch in Jubilee House also on ma Na nipa say, and I'm going to say, Emma so, yeah, Toman on that, and Toman in
All right. So you listened to the president, and he made it clear that he's not going to work with the MP from Femina. What do you think about what you've just heard and the fact that that same person is now the kingmaker in Parliament?
You see, it's so interesting that when we are speaking, we speak with boldness.
Right.
Speak as if tomorrow is for us. We speak as if we know the future.
Right.
But only one person who knows the future from all of us, and that is the Almighty Creator.
Yeah.
At the time that he was making this pronouncement and all those stuff, did they even ever think that there is for the possibility of that guy in the sea? They never thought of it. He has stated it, not I'm not saying. He said he cannot work with somebody who does not respect him. So therefore, why are they now going begging the guy to join them? And it's unfortunate Dr. Atta Jeffrey is off.
Right.
So the independent was going to, you see, these MP people, they have no shame. These MPP people, they have no shame. If they have shame, they will not be coming and be begging and be bragging that the independent candidate is going to work with them. And it's unfortunate. And I have a lot of, my reservation about the independent candidate, the former independent candidate.
Candidate, yeah.
Upon all what the president have said, upon all what John Boydu said about you, upon all what the former speaker did to you,
what would you have done? He's a member of the MPP, so he couldn't just even though they sacked him, he couldn't just now come back to Parliament.
He's not a member of the MPP. They sacked him out of the MPP. He's no more a card-bearing member of the MPP. They sacked him.
Right.
That is it. If I were to be him, I will never budge to this pressure from the presidents and then the MPP and then the General Secretary of the MPP, John Boydu. I will never budge to the president. He should go there, be independent candidate, work as an independent candidate, and then the interest of Ghana first. That is what I will urge him to do. I'll be very disappointed. I'll be very surprised if you go there and enjoy this MPP people to be putting shady deals in Parliament to pass through Parliament. I'll be very disappointed in him because of all the disgrace that has befallen him. If he's still going to sit with them, vote in block with them, then it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. And make no mistake, if he wants to align himself with the MPP and he wants to be part of the MPP, then he has to relinquish his seat for a new election should be held. And of course, look, let's be real. If he goes that direction and he goes as the candidate on the MPP seat, he's still going to win. But it's going to be very disappointing. It's going to be a disgrace for his family if he accepts to go that route. I will urge him that he should remain over there as an independent candidate in the House of Parliament and take his decision as independent candidate. Any day that comes onto the floor, he should think of the interest of Ghana first.
Let me ask,
and then, according to that.
As NDC, are you aware or do you know whether the NDC reached out to him to see if he'll be interested in caucusing with them?
Of course, I can tell you for a fact that not only him. Honorable Ntaka was the one who was charged. He reached out to a lot of them. Look, Mr. Amuzu, if it has not been hot up pain and the drama that we saw Wednesday night, and then these MP people were not violating the constitution and then the standing orders of Parliament, okay, and they've allowed this voting to go on peacefully without nobody showing their ballot, Professor Makoko would have gotten even less than 136 that he got. I'm telling you, because we did a lot of good job. Whilst they were there bragging, they were there casting insinuations, John Boydu was saying all sorts of things. We were behind.
Would you say that is an indictment on Professor Kwe himself? Because the man is old, there are videos of him, circulating where you could see him finding it difficult to even walk and sit, and he has to be carried even to get into his car. Would you think him not getting a lot of votes is an indictment on him, or this is, you believe, is an indictment on the NPP as a party?
It's an indictment to both Professor Michael Quay and the NPP. It's a shame to them. That is why the president was very upset when he was giving his inaugural speech. Look at the way he's done it. So he was very upset, angry in himself. And look, they were thinking they were going to get this man over there and use him like the way they used him for the last 4 years to push their shady deals in. Because it didn't happen, they were disappointed. And Alfred, you know what they did? These people, they take Ghanaians for granted. The brochure that was shared or that was prepared for the inauguration, they pre-assumed that Professor Michael Quay is going to be the Speaker of Parliament. So when things changed that night, they quickly went and printed a picture of Honorable Addo and pasted it on Professor Michael Quay.
Yeah, but you and I, you know,
What a shame.
You and I know that it takes time to print. You're not just going to, because the election of Bagbin happened like a couple of hours before the inauguration, but they needed those documents to be printed prior to the event. And the assumption, even if it was the NDC, they would have done the same thing. I quite remember during the NDC time where the president of Kenya was named the president of Ghana. So this thing happened, right?
That was typo error. Yeah, that was a typo error. This is the instance whereby they think they've made up their mind that, of course, whether rain or shine, Professor Michael Quay is going to be the Speaker of Parliament. And this also should once again tell all of us that God's wills or God's plans are not our plan. Whatever God has planned is what is going to happen. They, in their mind, have already taken a decision, but that's not the will of God. That is why we have two people among them voting against them. So this should teach all of us, including you, including me, that when we are doing something, we should always factor the probability of it becoming or turning the other way. Always, we should not focus our mind and think that we're going to have it 100%. That was disgraceful for them to go and print Bagbe's picture and paste it on. I mean, that is shameful. That is shameful. I would have expected that they would have printed the brochure, okay, leave the speaker out of it, and then wait the day of the election, as whoever was elected as a speaker, they could print a page, an A4 sheet, and then add it or put it on it for people to know, and everybody will accept it.
Right.
For them to do that is a shameful act. It's an insult to the good people of Ghana.
Right.
And expect whoever the people behind that print of those brochures to come out and apologize to the good people of Ghana. NPP, Addo have taken Ghanaians for granted too far long, and it needs to stop.
All right, NPP has taken NPP and Addo have taken Ghanaians for granted. There's a comment I wanted you to actually answer if you can quickly, and then we want to go into the speech given by the president during the inauguration. The comment says, and it's coming from Akko Radio one more time. He says, exactly what I want to know is if the speaker can single-handedly stop discussions on the floor.
The speaker cannot stop discussions on the floor. The speaker needs to work with both the two sides of parliament. If you watch my words carefully, I've never stated minority or majority.
Okay.
The speaker is going to work with both sides of the house.
So what is your, so you are saying there's no minority or majority? That's what you're saying?
Exactly, as we stand,
okay.
Yes.
And you believe the NDC is going to emerge victorious and become a majority?
Exactly, because the Techima South for that seat alone is for
Techima South. Okay.
Yeah, because it is on record. Samson Yadi Alinini of Joy FM has even stated that there was no collation done at Techima South.
Right.
When we took the case to court, the judge, to try to put injunction on it, the judge said the people have elected him to allow him to go, and then later we should come to the court to find out an election petition so that they can go into the matter. You understand me? So yeah. I believe, and I strongly believe that apart from that, there are other 3 or 4 seats we are contesting, and likewise the NPP. So as we move on, the majority minority will be showing clear. But as we speak, we have equal balance of parliament, 137 with 1 independent. There is no majority, there is no minority, and this is the good thing, and it's a good thing for democracy, because now both sides need to come into agreement, compromise, and come into agreement, and let's work together. And don't forget, remember that Honorable Idrisu has stated categorically that they will not allow more than 80 ministers to be appointed.
Okay.
They will not allow it. And that is good for democracy. Because for Nana Addo appointing 124 ministers in his imperial government was, unacceptable. It was the drain on the Ghana's economy. People are dying in the hospital. All those over 124 ministers is too much for Ghana of a population of about 33 million. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So there is a question, there's a comment for you here that says, what is the shame that the Soso is backing about? So somebody's asking, what do you mean by, it's a shame for them to put a picture of somebody else on another person because they have already assumed Professor Quay was good. What's the shame in that?
There's a shame in that because you don't assume something that you have no control over.
Right.
You assume it. Because nobody knows what's going to be turned out as the Speaker of Parliament. So, Mr. Muzu, if the tester, whoever tested it, want to understand my point, the NPP has predetermined that Professor Akuffo was going to be the Speaker of Parliament, and that's not the will of God. You see the way things turn up.
Right.
So I think it's shameful. It is very shameful for them to do that.
Okay, let's listen to the president, and then when we come back, let's listen to the president's speech. When we come back, I would then we can go into analyzing what we hear from the president and see whether he's going to be able to do any of those things. So let's go. Okay, I don't think this is coming. Can you hear the sound from this?
No, I'm not hearing any sound.
Okay, let me do it again. Okay. Guys, just give me 1 second while I try to share this. Okay, share with sound. All right. Okay, let's go. Let's listen to the president and we'll talk after that. Can you hear it?
No, I cannot hear it.
Okay, something is not working here. Okay, let me do it again. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to play what the president said on his inauguration speech, and then we would take a look at whether. All right, let's try this again. You can hear it still, right?
No, I can't hear it.
Okay, so the president said a few things, right? The president said a few things on his inauguration. He's talked about the free SHS, that he believes in education, that he's also confident that the free SHS is going to yield dividends going forward. He's talked about the fact that he's opened schools back up. He emphasized the fact that the youth are playing a key role in making Ghana a digital economy, and that Ghana will become the leader in that arena in the near future. So this is some of the things he said. There are others, like the economy is the fastest growing in Africa, even in the pandemic, that we are recovering at a faster rate than was thought. He talked about the farm, what do you call it? The farming for, is it food for something? His policy on farming, planting for food, and then he referred to the juice company that he believed that the juice that is coming from Ghana is capable of competing with any other from the world. And then he talked about how Apio has been branded, and that the Ghanaian, if supported, is able to produce and compete on the world stage. And these are some of just a few of the things that he said, but he said a lot. What is your assessment of his speech, and how do you assess what his performance will be for the next 4 years?
Well, thank you, Mr. Muzu. I think, I'll take his words as a pinch of salt. because I don't even believe in any of the things that he said. Why am I saying so? In 2020, when he went to present the State of the Nation to the good people of Ghana, it was stated in that State of the Nation address that it's the year of roots. Did that thing? Was he able to fulfill that promise?
Well,
No.
he said this year is going to be
I'm coming there. The second year. You see, you couldn't even fulfill like last year promise you gave to the Ghanaian, and you are even giving more promises. So as for the president's speech, I take it as a pinch of salt. I'm not even going to believe it. I'm not going to even think, and I'm going to trust that he's even going to do all the things he's saying. In the instance, make no mistake, I still believe that he's a temporary president. He's a president that's been selected, not elected. And otherwise, when the Supreme Court gives a verdict, we don't recognize him as the president of the country.
Who selected? What do you mean by he
was selected by the super incompetent EC chair lady, Jane Mensah.
But by our law, that is who is authorized to announce or to announce the winner.
I agree. She's the one who's supposed to determine who is the president. But she did a wrong job. It's a discussion we had last week, and all the figures we've put out there. That is why I am saying that the party has taken a stand. We will not recognize him as the president until otherwise.
So, according to the party, who is the president of Ghana right now?
We don't know.
We can only have one president at a time, right?
Fine. You can, whatever it is that you can admit it, but we are not recognizing him as the president of Ghana because there's a court case hanging around him until we go to the court and the court make a decision and the court affirms his decision, yes. Until then, we are not going to recognize him. And I'm not going to even waste my time and speak about the things he said on his inaugural speech because all the things he said are palpable false. Look, Mr.
Paul, let me also remind you that back in 2012, was it? No, yeah, 2012.
2013.
2013 actually, when the then current president Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo went to court, he still recognized, John Mahama as the president.
He did not. They said they will not recognize him as the president because he stole the election, and they are at the court make a decision, and we are giving them back their own dosage. Okay. Whatever they give, we are giving it back to them. We are not recognizing him until the court state otherwise. But let me go on to the things he said in the inaugural speech. Look, all the things he said over there were lies. He said this year is going to be the second year of rules. I know you are a fine seasoned journalist. Can you tell me how many kilometers of road were constructed in the year 2020? If you can tell me.
Right.
Look, don't be playing with the intelligence and emotions of Ghanaians. That is what the president does. He's known to be playing in the intelligence and emotions of Ghanaians, which is unacceptable. Number two, he said the free SHS has yielded, results, whatever it is. Look, let's not make mistake over here. Free SHS is in the constitution of Ghana, which I have over here.
Right.
It's a part, and it is the right of, and it's something that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, but the constitution says that, even though he's been in the constitution since independence, correct?
I agree with you.
And nobody has implemented it until Nana Akufo-Addo.
That is not true, Mr. Muzu. That's not true.
Various governments did aspects of free education. Like I know
John Mahama started it. John Mahama started with day school.
Progressive free SHS.
Progressive. And MPP came and continued at progressive. When they came in, they started with first years. They didn't pay all the 3 years together. They started first year, moved to second year, and now they have all the 3 years paid. So they also did the progressive. So
but we can differentiate between what Mahama was going to do and what Akufo-Addo actually did, right? Because Mahama, in his case, he was targeting poor but needy students and was, granting them.
I agree. You are right. I agree. He started with the poor and needy students in day schools, and they were covering their fees.
Yes.
You need to start progressively. You can't just get to something. And what was the manifesto? When you go to the MPP 2016 manifesto, and if you remember, it's page 136 or 140. It stated categorically that they were going to implement universal free senior education.
Okay.
But we see. That is why I said that when he talk, I take his word as a pinch of salt, because he will tell you he's going to do this and he do the other thing. And I'll give you most example on this show this evening. So I'm not even going to waste my time and talk about this inaugural speech. Okay. Because I still believe he's not the president-elect. He's the president selected on the good people of Ghana. He's been pushed on the good people of Ghana. And I believe when the Supreme Court sits on the case and it goes to the merit and the merit of the case, the truth will come out.
Okay, so just kind of a programming alert. Next week, we will be talking about the petition filed by John Mahama and the revisions that he went back and
the
amendment to the petition. And then also, interestingly, we've already got the Nana Akuffo Addo's camp responding to that petition themselves. So we would have the two petitions, the petition and the response from the other camp to analyze, and we'll be doing that on Sunday at the same time. So tell a friend to tell a friend. We will be discussing the two different petitions next week, Sunday. So you can go ahead. I know you talk about the SHS and
So it's not true. It's not true that and the statement he made over number 3. He was talking about what's the name? A Kumfi juice factory to competitive with. Look, there are juice factories in Ghana that were already existing. Look, if you want to talk about factories that John Mahama built, we did not make a lot of noise like the way they are making noise. You understand me? There are factories that are already in operation in Ghana. Yes, I admit that a Kumfi, they put up a Kumfi. I admit to that. What did they tell us? They said one district, one factory. Able to produce it. How many districts do you have in Ghana? How many factories were they able to build? These are the things that people like you, journalists like you, are supposed to put them on the board, ask them to provide us the bare fact. They said they're going to give them 1 million, one constituency. How many millions did they give to your constituency? I don't know where you come from. But
I come from Ketusa.
They never received that 1 million that we were talking about. So, this president is full of propaganda, lies, mischief, and that is what he's going to do in his second term, which won't even happen because the court there's a case on him at court, and we are going to wait for the court to make a decision. Then we can take it from there. Because this year, the next 4 years, whoever is going to be the president, whether he or is going to be His Excellency John Mahama, will scrutinize each and everybody. We will make sure that Ghana become the victorious in every aspect of any decision that is taken on behalf of the good people of Ghana. Okay, so what we just did was really talk through some of the things that the president has said during his inaugural speech, and we are looking at next week. We'll be looking at petitions that John Dramani Mahama filed and the amendment to the petition, and we'll also be looking at the NPP's response to the petition. Now, I think we've been on for almost an hour, and we are hoping to be keeping the show within 1 hour, but I know we went over. Now, do you have any final, statements? I know we had you and Dr. Jenfi on the show, but Dr. Jenfi has to leave because he's traveling. But do you have any final comments before we bring today's show to an end? My final comment is that I will urge the viewers and the listeners to ignore the propaganda, the mischief, the lies that is being told by our folks from the NPP. Okay, they continue to throw dust into our eyes, but the good news is that Ghana's democracy is going to grow now. Now that we have Speaker of Parliament from another party, we're going to put this government in check. Make sure that they will not take Ghanaians for granted with shady deals, corrupt deals. It's not going to happen again. And I'm happy that Ghana is going to be on track. And I hope and I trust and I believe that the cases that is before the Supreme Court, Supreme Court judges will do justice without fear or favor. They will do justice to the case, and Ghana will become victorious at the end of it all.
Ghana will become victorious at the end of it all. That is the last statement from our panelist, Mr. Paul Desoso. Paul has been gracious enough and decided to join us today. He would continue to join us in the future. He's going to be our Kokubaku on our agenda. So, Paul, I wanted to, on behalf of my listeners and myself and the show, And on behalf of Akko Radio, say a big thank you. Or thanks to you and to Dr. Jemfi for stopping by and giving us all this good information. Next week, I think we will be bringing you back, and I think Dr. Jemfi will be joining us as we talk through the petitions that has been filed. It never gets dull in Ghana. You know, this last 2 weeks has been so busy. I can imagine.
I expect more this week. I expect more things to happen this week.
So, you know, it's a great time to actually be in journalism or to be making commentary over these issues, because there's so much to talk about. And there's so much I know the listeners are interested in coming to share with us and listen to. So I wanted to take the opportunity to thank everybody for watching. This is the Ghana Agenda. We are on from 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're in Ghana, I think that will be about 10 to 11 p.m. 10 to 11 p.m. Central is 6 to 7 p.m. And on the West Coast, I believe it's going to be from, is it 7 to them or 8 to, I think it's going to be 8 to 9 o'clock. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Sundays from 5 p.m. Ghana Agenda is on. And we bring you a lot of good discussions. Thanks a lot. And see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Oh, somebody said something. Maybe let's look at that before we go.
Okay.
There's a comment here that says, I think it's responding to somebody. Say, Abesi Asante, truth hurt. Abi, stop bleeding, mate. Okay. So that is the show for today. We will see you next week. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Ghana Agenda is on every Sunday.
By the way, Kobe is my friend. I sat in the same class with him at Accra Academy, and I said to him, I say hi to him, and then let's talk.
Shout out to all my blow people. Do you know Jemfi? Jemfi is actually Dr. Jemfi.
Accra Academy student.
Accra Academy.
Oh, that's great. Great
So
to know.
today-
Great to know.
Today is,
He's from Accra Academy. He went to Accra Academy. I sat in the same class with him, and then a very good friend. So I know, and then let's see what happens next week. Thank you very much.
yeah, Kobe, thanks for watching. Thank you.
Kobe, thank you.
This is what